Hey up everyone, welcome back to the Rugby League History channel. Today on the channel I'll be doing my tips and predictions for the 2024 Preliminary Finals. Who's going to make the Grand Final? We'll just have to wait and see. Two massive games coming up. Of course, nobody wants to lose in the Preliminary Final. Nobody remembers who loses them games. So it's all about getting to that final. And let's start off with the first match, which is happening on Friday night. And the first match is between Melbourne and Sydney Roosters. This one's being played at Amy Park in Melbourne. These two sides have met over 50 times in the league since Melbourne come in 1998. Melbourne hold the head-to-head record there. However, in finals, Sydney Roosters hold the head-to-head record in the final series. There's been 5 matches played between the two clubs. The first were in 1998, then we had to wait all the way till 2015 for these two sides to play against each other again. And then, of course, we had back-to-back finals appearances, 2018, 2019. 2018 was the grand final where East won that pretty comfortably. 2019, Melbourne were runaway minor premiers, went up to the Sydney Cricket Ground and East pulled off the upset to make the grand final. And of course, last year, there was the controversial win that Melbourne had down there in the semi-final. So there hasn't been too many finals meetings between these two clubs, but certainly there've been close ones in the past, and I think this one's going to be no different. These two sides have already met each other twice this year. Melbourne's won both of those quite comfortably. With Melbourne, they've had the week off. They beat Cronulla, so they've been sitting back and watching all the other teams play. As for Eastern Suburbs, pretty much from the get-go against Manly, you knew that they meant business. They were pretty much on the front foot from start to finish, and they put in a really good performance against Manly. But with Melbourne, because they had the week off, they've had ideal preparation. With Eastern Suburbs, they come in with a very short turnaround, so there's going to be a lot of sore bodies, but they're going to have to back up once again. I think the key for this game, especially if you're a Sydney Roosters fan, is that you want your team to start well, because I think right from the get-go, Sydney Roosters are going to have to be on the front foot against Melbourne. I can't see them having any chance in this game if Melbourne get out to like a 10 or a 12-0 lead. Sydney Roosters are going to have to start the better of the two sides, and they're going to have to try to lay that platform and try to get on top of Melbourne early on. A lot of other tipsters and a lot of other videos I've watched so far, they're all tipping Melbourne to win 13 plus, and they think that it's pretty much a cut and dry match. Melbourne's going to be too strong, but this is the final series and anything can happen. I mean, anything. I've seen it firsthand across the years. Melbourne been runaway minor premiers or been in a situation where it looks like they're going to make the grand final for all money, and then of course they choke in the preliminary final. We've seen it in 2011, we saw it against New Zealand. We saw it in 2019 against Sydney Roosters. We've seen a couple of other times where they look destined to make the grand final and they haven't, and that's what the finals is all about. So even though Eastern Suburbs are an outside chance, don't write them off entirely. I give them every chance of winning this game. Like, if they show up with the right mentality and they can try to keep Hughes and Munster and Pappenhausen and all that quiet, I give them any chance of beating Melbourne. And if you know me and if you know this channel, I would absolutely love if East were to beat Melbourne. Absolutely love it. And I really, really want to see them win this game. But, you know, I'm just going to bet with my head. I think across the year, Melbourne are there where they are because of how they've been playing and what they've demonstrated across the year. So I'm not going to go Melbourne to win 13 plus, but I'm going to go for Melbourne to win 1-12. But hopefully Eastern Suburbs can win instead. And the second preliminary final is the following day on the Saturday. It's Penrith against Cronulla-Sutherland. This one's being played at Stadium Australia. Both of these clubs coming in the competition back in 1967, and would you believe it, they've only ever played in the one finals game before that. That were in 2018, where Cronulla beat Penrith 21 points to 20. These two sides only met once this year before this match, and I believe Penrith won that game 42 points to 0. With Penrith, they've had the week off, they've been relaxing, doing their preparation. They would have sat back and watched the North Queensland against Cronulla game. As for Cronulla, they finally got that hoodoo off their back, got a win in the finals, and especially for Nicholas Hines, the pressure were on, and they got the job done against the North Queensland side. But I think one thing that I took away from that game is that Cronulla pretty much shut up shop in the second half, and I think if they're going to stand any chance against Penrith on Saturday, they've got to play the full 80 minutes. They just can't play half a game, because Penrith will just come back over the top of them and win quite comfortably. For Penrith, they're looking to qualify for their 5th straight grand final, and for Cronulla, they're looking to qualify for their 5th grand final in their history. So very contrasting fortunes between these two clubs. For this match, a lot of people are not giving Cronulla much of a chance. I think if they are to stand any chance in this game, as I said earlier, it has to be an 80-minute performance, and they have to start well. They can't afford Penrith to get out to a 12-0 lead or any more than that, otherwise it's pretty much game over. And some of them Cronulla players are going to have to play the game of their lives, I think, if they're going to beat Penrith. As for Penrith, they're a very experienced squad. They know what to do at this time of the year. I know that they know what their job is going to be when they go out there. For this match, I'm going to go for Penrith to win 13+. I can see Cronulla matching it with Penrith early on, say like the first 20 minutes or so, but I just think as the game wears on, Penrith are just going to be too strong and they'll run away with it. If Cronulla were to somehow beat Penrith, it would be probably one of the biggest finals upsets in modern times. There's been a lot of talk about where the game's being played at Stadium Australia. I'd be surprised if there was any more than 40,000 there. Penrith don't have a large fan base, as opposed to what the media would like you to believe. And Cronulla fans don't really travel. I mean, you saw the attendance there at the Sydney Football Stadium the other weekend, so I think if there's more than 40,000, I'd be shocked. I mean, they're going to have to give out free tickets. They're going to have to give out, maybe they even have to say, look, people of Cronulla, Penrith, we're going to send out private taxis to pick you up and drive you to the game there and back, because it's not going to be a big crowd, I think, there on Saturday. But anyway, those are my tips for the 2024 preliminary final games. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, let me know in the comment section below, and let me know who you're tipping to make the grand final. Anyways, this has been Rugby League History, and I'll catch us all later in the next one. Alright, ta-ra for now.